Okay, I have just been given confirmation that we are ready for Sentinels of the Multiverse. So, Amalgamayne, please show us how the game works. Take it away.
Hello, Speedromizer. It is such a pleasure to be here with you on this great Sunday night. I am Amalgamayne, a she, her, representing Lady Raw here from this great card game. I am here with an amazing commentary buddy and expert in Sentinels, the great and the mighty Banana. Please take a moment to introduce yourself.
Yes, that is me, Bananatron, they, them, here, at your service. Local subject matter expert, color commentary provider, expert commentator. I really thought I would have another word by the time I finished that sentence. Anyway, I randomly saw Amalgamayne streaming Sentinels as she was learning it, and somehow I'm here now.
And we're all happy to have you. A little bit about the game before we go and hit start is this is a, like I said, a card game, but you get to build your own set of Avengers, and the goal is we have to stop these evil villains from trying to take over Earth. In this speed run, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be fighting all 4 of the base game villains that come with the game, not in any of the expansions, using all of the heroes that you get with the base game. It's a highly fun, highly intense, and high RNG based type of run, so we could be done either really early or right at the full amount of time. That's just how this goes in card games. So as I set up, I'll just let our timers know that time will start when I press fight on the first fight, and it will end when we defeat Baron Blade. But don't worry, I'll give you a little countdown when that's about to happen. Let's go ahead and set up our first fight, and while I'm doing that, I will have Banana tell you a little bit about each one of the heroes and villains.
So, our first fight is against the one, the only Citizen Dawn, leader of the Citizens of the Sun, a group of superpowered supremacists who believe those with superpowers should rule over those without. But opposing her, we have Legacy Paul Parsons the eighth in a family of heroes descended from a kid who helped warn Paul Revere. Each generation gaining new powers. We have the visionary Vanessa Long, psychic time traveler from a dark future, using her psychic power to manipulate the battlefield. We have, of course, the fastest woman on Earth, Tachyon, aka Dr. Meredith Stinson, who is super fast, super smart, and super effective. We have the one, the only God of the Sun, Ra, empowered to call down the sun's flames upon his enemies. And we have Haka, immortal Maori warrior, and I would like to apologize to any Maori in the audience as I tell you his name is Haka Wakawarewa. And using his titular Hakas, he can empower himself. And we are fighting Citizen Dawn in the environment of Insula Primalis, location of her secret base of all her citizens. Also the location of many dinosaurs. So let's start this up.
In 3, 2, 1, let's fight. And welcome to Sentinels.
The villain always acts first.
Yes, this is the game loop. We have our villain. They always go first. We have to wait our turn, and then after our turn, the environment gets to play. So what ends up happening is there's 2 elements of RNG that we have to keep an eye on. What the villain does, but also what the environment does.
And also which cards you draw, because the heroes are also drawing their own cards.
Absolutely.
And we have a bit of a rough start. Definitely not the worst start that Citizen Dawn can produce, but the combination of Citizen Anvil, who reduces all damage dealt to the other citizens, and Citizen Truth, who makes every other citizen immune to all damage, is a bit of a rough one, because Truth also reduces the damage he takes, so you'll have to chew through that 7 HP, and he'll take 2 less damage from each hit, and until you do that, you can't touch Citizen Hammer, who's going to burn your team down, or Citizen Summer, who's going to attack whoever has the most cards in play.
That's right. The other thing we got to keep an eye on is, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tour of what to look for. We have inside this little exclamation, little explosion. This is the amount of health that each one of the cards have. You can click on any one of the cards to be able to get more info and be able to understand what their skills are and what they can and can't do to you. The nice thing is, when it's our turn, we get to choose from any of our cards in our hand, which is represented at the bottom of the screen. And then we get to use our special powers, because what's a hero or heroine without a superpower? And I think what we'll start to do, Banana, is let's start taking out Citizen Truth first. What do you think?
Well, it's not like we have other options. Everyone else is totally immune to the damage we deal. And until we take out Citizen Truth, Citizen Hammer is going to, well, keep hammering us. Thankfully, Legacy's base power galvanizes, boosting the damage our entire team does. A large part of why I consider Legacy to be the strongest hero in the game, and one we're going to be seeing a lot of in these upcoming moments. Spoilers. And I see Haka has Savage Mana, a very important card for this fight in particular. You see, although Citizen Dawn is not a good person, she does get upset if you take out too many of her citizens underneath her. If there's too many in her discard pile, she'll temporarily flip her card over and become invulnerable, surging out more citizens to rebuild the board. But Savage Mana lets you avoid that by hiding the cards you destroy underneath it, where she won't see them in her trash and thus will not go invulnerable. Tachyon, meanwhile, is doing Tachyon things. Fleet of Foot grants everyone a card play and herself an additional... No, everyone a card draw, herself an additional card play, and with 2 of them, plus a research grant showing she's a scientist as well as a speedster, she can filter through her hand very effectively, as well as setting up her trash with burst cards, which some of her other effects care about.
Yes, and one thing you may see me do during this fight is you might see me click on the little trash can here of Citizen Dawn. This will tell me how many, not only cards that I have beaten, but how many citizens are in her trash. And if there is 4 or more inside of here, that's what causes what Banana just said of Citizen Dawn becoming invulnerable. That's why Savage Mana is pretty much one of the best cards in the game, at least against Citizen Dawn.
Yes, if she goes invulnerable, the only thing you can do is wait for her to play cards and become vulnerable again, which, as you might expect, is not exactly a thing you want to do during a speedrun.
Correct. But sometimes, based upon the hands that we're given, it might actually be faster to make her become invulnerable than to go and wait out a perfect hand. That's a thing that we always have to balance here in the world of Sentinels.
Absolutely. Setting up the Savage Mana a little early here, it's not like Citizen Truth. Savage Mana, Haka has to get the finishing blow. On the other hand, we don't mind if 1 citizen makes it into her trash. Only if 4 do. Thankfully, she's taking a break on us, playing out Citizen Spring, who, in healing the entire villain team, is mildly annoying, but far from the worst card she could have played.
Absolutely.
Honestly, this is a pretty average Citizen Dawn experience. There's a reason we've chosen to take her on first.
Yes, she, because of what she can do, and if she does happen to show devastating Aurora, it's part of the reason why we have her first, because she can sometimes be the biggest skill check in the game.
Yes, Devastating Aurora, for those not in the know, is aptly named. It destroys basically everything the heroes have in play. Oof. Well, the good news is that lets you get Sweat and Tears out of the way, who are, in my opinion, two of the worst citizens. Luminous leadership will heal the entire team, but not having to deal with Sweat, who destroys your ongoing setup, or Tears, who forces you to discard cards, is well worth it.
Yes, that is Visionary's really special niche play, is that she gets to manipulate not only her deck, but the enemy's deck.
Yes. Her psychic powers let her manipulate the decks of heroes, villains, and the environment, and set up all sorts of tricky little effects in various ways.
And let's get rid of this T-Rex.
Never a bad idea. Use your super speed to get rid of the T-Rex. It doesn't even have feathers. And, because Tachyon has her HUD goggles, which also keep the bugs out of her eyes, she gets to play a second card, which is going to be mostly blocked, but with the 2 damage increases from Legacy's Galvanize and his Inspiring Presence, we're still going to chip down Citizen Truth a bit.
Correct. And some damage at this point is better than none.
Yes. Flesh of the Sun God is another fun one. It'll allow the entire team to be protected from fire damage and passively protects Ra, who at this point could start setting up either of his weapons, as I believe he has he has both a Mere and a Kayaha. And that will allow him to destroy and absorb Citizen Truth, and put it beneath Savage Mana, and Citizen Hammer, who is, well, hammering the entire team. Much more than Citizen Assault is. Citizen Assault is dealing...
Because we have the Fire Shield on, I'm tempted to leave Hammer in for the moment.
That's not actually a terrible idea. Hammer and Summer are both dealing fire damage, so as long as Ra is willing to block that, they are safely ignorable. Primordial Plant Life, would you like to take damage or blow up your board and take slightly less damage? This is what the environment can do. It throws dinosaurs and carnivorous plants and all manners of nastiness at you. And since we like having cards in play, we are just going to sit there and tank all the damage.
Here comes the power of the Fire Shield.
Flesh of the Sun God, is effective at shielding against fire, yes. And it'll block Citizen Summer as well. If you have not noticed, Citizen Dawn enjoys giving her people little matchy-matchy code names. So that's why there's Hammer and Anvil, and there's Spring, Summer, Autumn, and Winter. And there's Assault, who gets stronger if his partner, Citizen Battery, is in play. And, of course, Sweat and Tears, along with the third member who we did not currently see, Citizen Blood.
I'm thinking, let's see how much we're going to do. That's going to do 2 on everybody. Let's make sure we don't get an Aurora coming up.
Yes. Well, Citizen Dare is a bit scary. Blinding Blast is a bit scary. Citizen Blood is another one of those characters who just does a bit of melee damage, but it would be very scary if we did not know that Citizen Sweat and Citizen Tears were stacked at the bottom of the deck.
Yes, so on the top, let's get rid of Citizen Blood, because he's the easiest to deal with.
Yes. Citizen Dare technically has less HP, but he increases all damage that the heroes take, which adds up fast. And Blinding Blast is a one-shot, so it'll just zap everyone, but also force everyone to discard cards, which is not fun.
Yeah, and I'm feeling, let's not have to worry about that if we can help it.
I am inclined to agree. And there is Tachyon's big power card, Lightspeed Barrage, which deals as much damage as there are bursts in her trash. And you will notice all of those cards she's been drawing and discarding with Visionary's power. Most of those cards she's been playing, those are bursts. But for now, we're playing a Hypersonic Assault, which is doing a little bit of damage to everyone and preventing all of them from dealing damage for a round. Which in turn means that Ra won't have to worry about protecting people from fire damage, because they aren't doing any damage. And let's get rid of that heal gun going as well. And we can just keep digging through the deck, draw more cards, discard more cards, draw more light speed barrages, and do some very strong things. Now, the HUD Goggles is a strong card, but as you can see, it's limited, meaning we can only have one of it, and we've already got one of it. So we don't need to keep around that extra copy.
Let's start taking it to her.
Yup. Even with Anvil providing some damage resistance, it's worth just getting blasting sometimes.
Let's chip him.
Yep, and since you used the power on Living Conflagration, it did a little less damage, but it let you draw a card.
Let's go ahead and get rid of Anvil here.
Also a good idea, simply elbow smash him, which will allow you, and since Haka's the one doing it, another card under Savage Mana and not in Dawn's trash, and with a swing of the Taiaha, we can take out Hammer, and, well, honestly, you can do whatever you want at this point. You can take out Citizens, or you can just hit Dawn in the face with one end of it. That's the advantage of a double-ended weapon.
Yeah, I'm like, let's fully utilize its damage potential. And take out 2 more of her crew.
And there's the Obsidian Field, a bit dangerous, makes everyone hit harder. Citizen Dawn is prevented from dealing damage, so we're kind of fine with that. And Legacy has found that generational treasure, the Legacy Ring, which will let him use not 1 but 2 powers. So he can boost everybody's damage and then perform a motivational charge to launch himself inwards and heal everyone, which is good because as you'll notice, Tachyon has been dropping down to the single digits. And that's another excellent card that Legacy has drawn for turn.
Absolutely. What was one of the cards that I was hoping we would get, because then we can show off how good it is.
Yes.
And since I'm
Visionary
playing
with the decoy
Visionary as support, I put in a little friend to help.
Yes, Decoy Projection doesn't do anything on its own, but will take hits for Visionary, which is nice for keeping her alive. Ra has plenty of strong cards, and also Wrathful Gaze, which I am convinced is the worst card in the game, and so an easy discard.
Okay. Now, since we can play 2 cards...
You can. How many bursts are in your trash? 8, it
we
says.
have 8. So I'm like, let's show off how powerful this can become.
Yep, Lightspeed Barrage is just a casual 11 damage. And then you get to play another one. Tachyon is a very powerful hero.
And her setup is medium easy to set up, so you don't have to burn a lot of time to get her to start dealing this damage potential.
Yes, she churns through her deck quite quickly. She finds the cards she needs, she plays them quickly, and she doesn't need cards on board to be at full strength. She just needs to fill up her discard pile. Ra is, of course, going to play the Staff of Ra, which heals him and empowers all of his damage even further.
Okay, that's too much.
We don't
go
want
straight
to take out
at her.
Citizen Blood quite yet. Yes.
Nope. Now, we'll take care of their new friend.
Now, Savage Mana does actually have a second power, which is not often used, but is sometimes used if you manage to stack 7 cards under it, which is to simply deal 2 damage for each card underneath it, at the cost of discarding all of them, which means that she'll flip if she survives. But we do have a bomb we're getting set up.
That's
and let's
correct.
get rid of the Obsidian Field so it doesn't benefit them.
Correct. And the T-Rex either.
Hey.
And
Citizen Autumn is a bit of a weird one, but Legacy can perform a takedown to stop Dawn from playing any cards on her upcoming turn.
absolutely. I have a feeling that that devastating Aurora that we want to watch out for is sneaking its way up the field. So I want to give our heroes another turn to be able to fully try to take out Citizen Dawn before she has the ability to do something against us.
Yes, although between Savage Mana being so well charged and Haka of Battle in Haka's hand, I suspect that victory is much closer than it may look at first.
That is true. We are hitting fairly hard, which is always a good thing.
Yes.
Perfect. We have 3 of these, so we can get rid of it safely. And now, again, because we get to play 2 cards, I am thinking, let's go ahead and do a setup of protection in case we need it.
Yes, Synaptic Interruption, for those not in the know, will allow her to redirect a attack away from herself into any other target once. And that Lightspeed Barrage is very good if we live long enough to play. Well, if we live long enough, if Dawn lives long enough at this point.
Absolutely. Oh, another casual 8.
That takedown was impressive, but thoroughly unnecessary. It's starting to look like. Haka has Haka of Battle, which will let him discard his entire hand to do more damage, and Savage Mana, which will let him do 14 damage at base because there's 7 cards underneath it. And that is much more than we need to take out Citizen Dawn in what I believe to be excellent time. This was a very smooth battle against her. A lot of times, fights against Citizen Dawn can go much worse.
Yes, and because this is mostly a point-and-click type of game, sometimes you do have to click multiple times. Other times, you get Choose For Me, which will allow you to do everything. Because this is a careful setup, I actually wanted to do it myself. 22
damage.
And just like that, we have saved Earth the first time tonight. And while we set up the next battle, if there are any messages from our amazing host and staff, be happy to hear them. And if not, it's okay. I'll take it back to you, Banana. Help us and our audience understand who's coming up next.
Up next is Omnitron, a sentient, rampaging robotics factory producing drones to take over the world and currently located in the ruins of Atlantis. Aiming to stop him are Legacy, Visionary, and Tachyon as before, but also 2 faces. Tempest, the alien Dalton, who uses their abilities to manipulate weather, bringing down storms and healing rains and pounding hail, and Fanatic, an avenging angel empowered by her faith in the faith of others, and a bringer of divine wrath.
Let's show off how awesome this crew is together against that sentient spider. I usually say demon, but he's not a demon, he's a machine.
It is, in fact, it is Skynet. It is not Skynet, but it is Skynet.
I was about to say, do we have a Terminator crossover?
Maybe?
There is, in fact, a version of it which travels back in time to try to change the past, although it's doing so to stop its past self, because it each time Omnitron is defeated, you see it upgrades itself. And it upgraded itself with an empathy chip. But first, let's talk about what it's doing right now, not what it will do in the future. It set up 2 components The first of which, the Disintegration Ray, will zap everyone at the start of its next turn, and the second of which, the Interpolation Beam, will zap anyone anytime they draw a card, which is not good. Fortunately, if we do enough damage to it, both components will break. Or we can use Twist the Ether to reduce the damage it deals, or increase the damage any of our own heroes deal.
I'm thinking let's go ahead and buff our friend Tempest.
Never a bad idea. Tempest is a great jack of all trades, and that certainly includes damage. The only issue is that if you're using your power, that's gonna bring some zapping, but sometimes you got it. Fnatic, I see, has drawn some interesting cards. Fnatic has some cards which are weak, and then some cards which are explosively powerful, such as End of Days, which destroys everything.
Absolutely. Let's start putting some damage on Omnitron, because I want those components to be gone.
Yes. Thankfully, unfortunately, it does not look like Tempest has a great way of doing that on their own, although at the very least, with that otherworldly resilience setup, they won't have to be worried about being zapped for drawing cards.
Yes. And we could do more.
Yes, Twist the Aether lets us change the damage type and increase it, so that's a total of 5 damage dealt out of the 7. So all we need now is for Fnatic to deal 2 more, and with that Great Sword Absolution, she certainly can, or with her base power. You see, here's a fun little trick about Sentinels. Her base power deals 1 melee damage and 1 radiant damage. Legacy's damage boosts, or any other damage boosts you come across, will increase each of those, allowing her to double dip. And that's the downside of being in Atlantis. There is a Kraken.
And for those in chat, release the Kraken!
Ooh, Omnitron is destroying everyone's equipment. Thankfully, there isn't too much set up currently, but it's still quite a bit frustrating. And zapping everyone for each card destroyed. And then replaying the Disintegration Ray, which, thankfully, we don't have to worry about as long as we keep dealing damage. Flying Smash is never bad. Let's Legacy hit up to 3 different targets, although we really only want to hit 2.
Correct, but if we can't get rid of the Kraken, normally it always helps to start whittling that Kraken down.
Yes.
Good.
At what point
This
can I
help.
shout, release the Kraken?
Yes! Release the Kraken! Always good to release a Kraken.
Yes. Tachyon, of course, is Fleet of Foot, which is just more free cards. When you are super fast, you get to play 1,000,000 cards. I think that's a pretty good way of representing super speed in a card game, honestly. Simply drawing a lot and playing a lot.
And let's not have to worry about that Kraken for another turn.
Yes. The Hypersonic Assault shuts down the damage of everyone. It hits villains and environment. And with her base power, she can see what she's about to draw. If she doesn't like it, say, no thank you, I would rather draw something else.
And let's increase it.
Yes, and in so doing, destroy the Disintegration Ray.
We don't want to hurt our team. There's certain instances where you may want to, but not this time.
Correct. None of these team members enjoy being hit.
Beautiful. Although we have 3 copies of that, I don't think we'll use any of those yet.
Yes, Into the Stratosphere is a bit of a niche card. It lets you take anything the villain has in play and fling it into the stratosphere, dealing damage to the highest damage villain along the way.
And since the Kraken can't hurt us, I'm actually waiting a turn intentionally, so that way we can deal more damage to Omnitron.
Makes sense. Uh-oh, the Atlantean font of power is going to let everyone play an extra card. Thankfully, the hypersonic assault would have shut down any of Omnitron's greater nastiness. It only set up a healing drone, and it is allowing us to call down a cerebral hemorrhage, as well as letting Legacy set up his superhuman fortitude to reduce all damage he takes.
Hey, this is actually helping us a lot. We're actually...
Yes.
This font of power is actually helping us take out most of the enemies here.
Yes! Sometimes font of power kills you. Sometimes it can do some extremely devastating stuff, but this time it was just beneficial.
And it also helped that because we had hypersonic assault there to be able to block any damage, we got a really good draw that the game decided to bless us with good RNG.
Yes. Legacy, of course, is doing his shtick as the team leader and letting everyone draw cards by bolstering their morale.
Let's see. I'm thinking we do some damage here.
Never a bad idea.
Especially because some of our AoEs will take out the assault drone.
Yes.
There's a message on the Twitch chat which I forgot to read, so I'm going to read it now.
Yes.
Sol was saying, where's my pot of greed to draw more cards? Then play another pot of greed to draw even more cards.
Well, Tachyon can do that with Fleet of Foot, although it only draws one card at a time. I don't believe there is one card in the entire game, not in the base heroes, so we won't be seeing it, that does allow you to draw 2 cards and play another card. It is, appropriately enough, named Best Card Ever.
Absolutely. You know, I'm gonna show off the Stratosphere by getting rid of the drone.
Alright. You could put the drone or the component on top of Omnitron's deck, since either way, both are going down.
Ta-da!
And with your localized hurricane, it does increase damage you take while it's in play, but it's well worth it because it hits very hard and allows Tempest to draw more cards every time it's used.
Correct. And it doesn't require too much time to be able to set in play and get going, which is one of the reasons why it's one of the better cards out there.
Yes, Tempest is very much every card simply works, and that is useful. Good old Holy Nova for a bit more damage and helping keep the team topped off. I will mention that we are having quite good RNG so far. I don't want to jinx it, but Citizen Dawn mostly wasn't that bad. Phosphorescent Chamber is a bit nasty. It forces everyone to discard cards, and then discard more if they want to get rid of it, and if they don't get rid of it, it makes everyone deal more damage.
Yes, this one's one of the nastier cards that could potentially happen that the environment gives you.
Yes.
LR Flu in the chat says, play Pot of Greed twice, then win with Exodia the Forbidden One.
Yes.
There's card combinations that certainly feel Exodia, but none that let you win just for having them in hand. You do have to play them at least.
But I appreciate the really good Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference there. Let's see. Let's go mess with what's coming up next.
Yes, Prophetic Visions to control which card the environment is going to play next time around. So we have a laser turret that shoots at everyone, a Kraken that shoots at a weak target, or simply allowing the hallway to collapse, which is just a one-time hit of damage.
That will allow us to be able to really focus more on Omnitron and not have to deal with some of the, what I'll say, potential garbage that this environment in particular will throw at you.
Yes, the environments are rated on difficulty from 1 to 3, and are not always accurate about it. We're about to go to a difficulty 2 environment, which is, in my opinion, one of the hardest in the game. But this is difficulty 3 for a reason. Thankfully, with our blinding speed, we can get out of the fire. Like, I understand. Yes. Is she, like, scraping phosphorescence off of the walls at super speed, or is she just, like, leaving?
She brushes them aside, I'll say.
Makes sense enough. Setting up the hailstorm, which is good if there's lots of targets, but with it's simply 2 damage to every enemy, whereas this, it deals more damage, it deals 3, but only to 2 targets. So, it's nice to have the option.
Absolutely.
Deal damage to much larger areas, in case, say, we face a villain who plays out half a dozen minions to hide behind. This may be foreshadowing.
Let's see. We don't have really anything, but we can embolden another person on our team.
Yes! And let them use 2 powers in a turn.
Now,
see, you can't use the same power twice, but if you embolden Tempest, they'll be able to use their Hurricane and their Hailstorm every turn.
And the game doesn't worry about, you already have 1 card attached to Tempest. Let's go stick another one on it.
Nope, you can stack a ton of cards next to a single target if you so choose.
So, then we'll just let the damage happen.
Pardon me, but may I interrupt?
Yes, you may.
Alright, we have a $33 donation from DJ that says, "Everything I owe for Spicy Percent. Props to everyone who is in attendance for this run. Props to Gooby who helped with the wings, and my wife for moral support. Here's to $1,500 by the end of day 3. And he put $8 towards the bonus song for Just Dance 2023, $2.99 for Classic Luigi for Paper Mario, and $22.01 for the Limo Percent run for Forza Horizon 4. We also have a $25 donation from Speedromizer Audio PC, which is all in caps lock. Pot of Greed allows me to draw 2 more cards. I will start my turn by playing Pot of Greed, which allows me to draw 2 more cards. I will play the magic card, Pot of Greed, which allows me to draw 2 new cards. I will start my turn by playing Pot of Greed, which allows me to draw 2 more new cards, etc., etc.
What are they going to play?
I'm gonna say...
That was not actually a good joke.
I was trying to find a good, Dark Magician. Play Dark Magician.
For now, we're just playing G-Bound Shackles, which is going to let Tempest do 2 more damage to the villain with the highest health, which, as that is the only villain, is going to be Omnitron. And, because Tempest has been emboldened, they can use 2 powers, and Omnitron is looking rather flimsy right now.
Which we like to see.
Yes.
Okay. We'll just chip away a little bit more here.
Yes, it is. 14 health is... I fully expect to win this upcoming round.
Don't like the seaweed. Seaweed's awful.
Yes, the seaweed is awful. It damages you every time you use a power.
Okay, what else do we have left here? Let's just go ahead and do some damage.
Never a bad idea. Good old back fist strike against Omnitron. Bit of the old 1-2. Visionary discarded her card to get rid of the seaweed, which is a bit unfortunate, but she can start rebuilding it in case we don't immediately win.
Yes. Beautiful. And then let's do some more damage. The railgun's gone. Not too bad we won't be able to show off Lightspeed Barrage again.
It is a shame we won't really be able to play it.
A boom, boom.
And that takes out Omnitron, but as you notice, Omnitron is software, not just hardware, so we have to take out every one of its devices in order to be able to properly win. Thankfully, the Hurricane hits 2 targets. So we do get to immediately win. That's not much of a delay, it's a single click. But it is still good that we managed to show it off.
Absolutely. If you don't factor that in, you might get surprised with, like, I thought I was done. And especially, again, if you're worried about time, you might lose, like, a good 5 or 10 seconds scratching your head going, what? What's going on here? I thought I just beat him.
Yes. Or if, alternatively, you are doing an extra difficult challenge run and are down to, like, 1 HP on some of your heroes and only barely manage to take out. Yes. Right now, we are facing Grand Warlord Boss and his gene-bound fleets attacking the city of Megalopolis. Facing him are Legacy, his Nemesis Tempest, Visionary, and then 2 new faces, the Wraith and Absolute Zero. The Wraith is an unpowered vigilante, but don't let that fool you. She's more than capable of fighting off alien invasions with her excellent training and excellent gadgets. Absolute Zero, meanwhile, is entirely reliant on his devices. After a lab accident reduced Ryan Frost's body temperature in Absolute Zero, he has to stay inside of a cryo-chilled suit or a special cryo chamber, or he'll burn to death. But, on the other hand, by venting air from that suit, he can create ice constructs and freeze things.
Let's try and... Oh, go ahead.
Thank you very much. We have just received a $50 donation from Absol that says, Almighty Protector of the sun and sky, I beg of thee, please heed my cry. Transform thyself from orb of light and bring me victory in this fight. I beseech thee, grace our humble game, but first I shall call out thy name, the winged dragon of Ra.
Thank you so much for
the $50. And thank you very much for making me read that.
Chat is coming up with some very good messages tonight, and I just want to say, keep them coming. They make
much
all
more
of this
creative
worthwhile.
than I am, and all of you are being much more creative than I am, and it is my job to come up with colorful commentary here. So,
yeah. The chat is wondering when Pot of Greed is going to be played. And one says, I know nothing about Yu-Gi-Oh! Other than Pot of Greed and Exodia.
Same with me.
I didn't do it in Marek's voice. I am so sorry. I beg of the chat to forgive me for not doing the Marek impression.
This is a bit of a rough start because First Lieutenant Victor, I believe his name is. I can't remember the name.
That is correct.
He is increasing all damage the heroes take, and with 5 minions, many of whom attack multiple heroes, that's adding up fast. The good news is that there's nothing protecting any of those minions.
Correct. Not this time.
So, not this time. There are cards in the deck which protect those minions, the gene-bound guards, but thankfully, we don't have to deal with any of them immediately, which means a good old-fashioned hailstorm will wipe out all but one of them. You see, each of them deals a different type of damage and is immune to the type of damage they deal. That's how Grand Warlord's deck. He's not very... Unlike Citizen Dawn and Omnitron, he doesn't have particularly many cards which simply explode onto the board out of nowhere and immediately change things. And we appear to have a co-commentator meowing at me one moment. I hope you cannot hear my cat in the background.
Oh, no. No, but even if we did, cats are always welcome.
Good to know.
And for those who are wondering,
cats.
yes, and for those who are wondering a little bit more about what Banana was just mentioning, down here, this is where you learn if they're immune to a specific type of elemental damage. The game is not just putting these down here to be pretty. There's actual functional uses to all of these little icons.
Yes. Like you can see that the Frost Hound is immune to cold damage and deals cold damage.
There's lots of little things that you have to keep in mind as you are going through and punching the enemies.
Yes, thankfully it is not immune to psychic damage. Also, you will notice we are taking out the minions before we hit Voss. That is not an accident. Voss takes less damage for each minion in play, so if we order the multi-hit attacks to hit the other minions first, we'll destroy them and get rid of any damage reduction that the Grand Warlord may have.
And if you saw me do a yes gesture, it's because we got a targeting computer.
Yes, which increases all the projectile damage that the Wraith deals, which is quite useful. Wraith needs her setup in order to be able to deal damage, but once she has her setup, she can do a lot of damage.
Absolutely.
Absolute Zero, meanwhile, this is a bit of a rough hand for him. He has 2 cards which allow him to recycle equipment, but he hasn't lost any to recycle. 2 cards which allow him to destroy ongoings, but there aren't any ongoings that we want to destroy, only our own. And then 1 card we can set up, which will allow him to deal some cold damage at the risk of dealing fire damage to himself. But Absolute Zero, you see, is a bit reliant upon setting up modules. So rather than playing a card or using a power which will only damage him, we're doing a double skip, which allows us to draw 2 cards instead of 1. Voss, as you can see, has flipped his card over, gotten out his fists, and gotten angry because there aren't any minions to hide behind. And now he's going to start punching us. But we don't mind. We have an inspiring presence to heal everyone and further bolster the damage they deal.
So we just got to keep an eye out for that little monorail that might make a little bit of a worry, but no worry because
Flash Flood can salve the plummeting monorail. Use 1 natural disaster to salve an unnatural one. That's science.
You can't argue with science.
Tempest, you might note, is Voss's nemesis. That means they each deal an additional point of damage to each other. Nemesis bonuses rarely come up, but they do occasionally matter.
And I'm setting up the mental divergence just in case there is an ongoing card that comes in that Voss does, and I don't want to have to deal with it.
Yes, not a bad idea.
I was just checking the bids. There is currently a 1 cent difference between the first and second highest bids for the Paper Mario Tower of Trials donation bid. So if you want to see Waluigi come out on top, donate towards him. If you want to see Classic Luigi beat Waluigi by that 1 cent, donate for Classic Luigi.
Absolute Zero has gotten one of his modules set up finally, the Null Point Calibration Unit, which, you see, his base power is to deal himself either cold or fire damage. Now, why would you want that, you may ask? Simple, because his Null Point Calibration Unit causes him to heal rather than taking any cold damage, and his Isothermic Transducer causes him to retaliate to any fire damage he takes by dealing that much cold damage to any target.
If you get the right setup, you could actually make Absolute Zero a nearly almost invincible healing and attacking machine.
Yes, he takes some time to get set up, not the most reliable, but if he's going, he is going. That traffic pileup is very scary, though.
Yeah, I think we should get rid of that first.
I'm inclined to agree, because until we do, no one's drawing any cards. There's a reason why I dislike Megalopolis.
How are we going for
Good news,
by
though.
the way? I got a message from the tech crew. How are we doing? Is it a good run, or does it need slightly more time? Ah, good run. Thank you very much.
Yes, this is a very good run.
Yes, if we were going to lose a lot of time, it would be due to Citizen Dawn. Citizen Dawn starting Citizen's Truth and Anvil was a bit of a rough start, but there are ways we could have lost a lot of time. Basically, if she went invulnerable, that can add like 10 minutes to the run. I might be slightly exaggerating, but I doubt it. Hey, we can manipulate the environment, and we can call in some good old-fashioned police backup. Which is, I think, the reason why this deck is listed as difficulty 2, because there are cards in it which are unambiguously beneficial. Unfortunately, the cards in it that are not beneficial can be absolutely awful, but there are cards in it which can be unambiguously beneficial.
Correct. Alright. Let's go ahead and make it so he can't do damage on us for a turn.
Makes sense. Even alien warlords don't like throat jabs, and then the Razor Ordnance is adding another 5 damage on top of that. Zero, meanwhile, can set up good old-fashioned focused apertures to further increase his cold damage, and that includes the cold damage he's dealing to himself, meaning he's able to heal himself for 4 points every turn. Police are here to deal a single point of damage. Oof, that's scary. See, when that card is destroyed, it brings back every minion. Now you might say, well, just don't destroy it. But it's not that simple, because you see, it destroys itself at the start of Voss's turn if you do anything first.
Correct.
So, we want to destroy it as quickly as possible, ideally, so we can take out all of the minions with AoE.
Let's see. We have an ongoing we can get rid of.
Yes. Good old-fashioned ball lightning. A hefty hit to Voss, and destroying the forced deployment, which brings back everything, but since we've only played a card this turn, we have still time to use our power, which will clean up every single one of these minions except for the Frosthound. Which is a good thing, because you may notice there are 7 of them. Fun fact, if Voss ever starts his turn with 10 minions in play, it doesn't matter how low his health is or how healthy the heroes are, that's enough for him to take over the entire planet and force instant loss.
Yes. Which is why we try to have multiple heroes here who can do AoEs, so that way, if this card does come into play, we can wipe them out in the same turn.
Yes. Pardon me.
Not a problem. Let's see what we got next here.
Good old-fashioned Psychic Maelstrom to take out that last straggling Frosthound and do a bit more damage to Voss.
And I'm hoping for a utility belt.
And you have gotten a utility belt.
Why would I want the utility belt, Banana?
Because the utility belt will let you use 2 powers in a single turn, meaning you can use your Stun Bolt and your Razor Ordnance damage, because each of those lets her double dip on damage boosts, including the micro-targeting computer, which we have not yet been able to play, but that'll only boost her damage even further.
Absolutely, and that will probably be played next turn. Let's see. I'm okay with playing this.
Makes sense. You don't have the fire damage module yet, so it's just upside. It'll increase the cold damage you deal to yourself even more, allowing you to heal yourself more, reduce the fire damage you would be dealt, and once you have the flame module, you can blow it up.
Part of the reason why I chose Impending Casualty is because it's very easy to get rid of.
And there's one of the flagships. Those are a bit scary.
Yeah, so we're going to turn our attention to getting rid of that. Can.
Yes, it is regrettably immune to melee damage. But we can take down Voss still to prevent him from playing cards for a turn.
Yes, because I think we might need potentially more than one turn to get rid of that ship.
I expect it. Although a good old-fashioned lightning slash can't hurt.
And then take some more. Get rid of that one. Beautiful, we'll get some shackles.
Yes.
Go ahead and smack them some more. And let's see if we can get that ring back.
Yes, getting the Legacy Ring would be useful, because we have Motivational and Charge in hand, but no real ability to use its power and Galvanize at the same time. But with the micro-targeting computer, we can do, let's see, I'm bad at math, 5 damage here, and then that'll be more than enough to take out the Stalwart. And then the Razor Ordnance will do a further 7 directly to Grand Warlord Voss.
And with the throat jab potentially for next turn, he may not be able to do any more damage on us.
Correct. He's going to be, even if he can't play cards, he can still punch 2 of us, which will be a bit risky.
Okay.
Ooh,
That's fine.
Cramped Quarters Combat. All damage is melee damage, and increased. Which is a bit risky. It stops Absolute Zero from dealing himself cold damage for 1. But on the other hand, a damage increase when the villain is at 13 HP can only be a good thing, really.
Especially because I think he's about to say night-night.
Indeed. Does that do it?
And
yes,
night.
It does. The G-Bound Shackles boosting the damage, plus the Nemesis bonus, plus Legacy's Galvanize and Inspiring Presence, lets the Hailstorm take out Grand Warlord Voss. Now, all that's left is Baron Blade.
And for our host and for our tech team, this is a really, really good run. If this continues, we're only looking at maybe another 5-10 minutes max before we're done.
Oh wow, that is very impressive. Well done.
We over-budgeted slightly for an hour and a half, but also, Dawn can take a lot longer than she did.
The hour and a half estimate was explicitly factored in for that, plus the fact that we wanted to be able to give you some of the lore and some of the techniques around the game, so that way you just wouldn't watch somebody like click through a bunch of random cards and not have you be able to understand what's going on, who the characters are, and some of the techniques used in being able to take on this game very quickly.
I'm sure chat loves a good lore dump, don't you, chat?
Absolutely.
We love hearing lore.
Well, this is Baron Blade, ruler of a small Lithuanian city-state known as Mordengrad, and sworn rival of the Legacy family. And he is currently on Wagner Mars base, but what he is attempting to do is use a Terralunar Impulsion Beam to pull the moon into the Earth. And if he manages to get 15 cards into his trash, he will succeed. So you have to beat him up and stop his plans before he can do that. Our team is 4 familiar faces, along with the 1 hero we have not yet used for anything, the Ironclad, the Indestructible Bunker, alias Tyler Vance, wearer of the Ironclad Project's Fruits of Research, a unique military mech suit, armed to the gills with various guns and weaponry.
Yes, and part of the reason why we wait for the end for Bunker is because of his play style and because Baron Blade is one of the easier villains, so that way we can take advantage of all of the other heroes that you have seen, because they have a much faster and more powerful damage output than Bunker.
Yes, Bunker can theoretically do good damage, but in practice, it can take him a long time to get fully set up and going, and until he's fully set up and going, he's not doing very much. Baron Blade always starts the game on his mobile defense platform, which shields him from all damage. He's also called in a Blade Battalion to beat up the heroes, which will deal as much damage as it has health each turn. Thankfully, just punching it once weakens. Baron Blade is definitely the easiest of the 4 starting villains that we're going to be facing. He's designed to be an introduction to the game, so he, unlike, say, Citizen Dawn, Citizen Dawn has a devastating aurora, which thankfully we did not see. Omnitron has a card which destroys every equipment and deals damage for each one destroyed, which can end promising runs, along with some devastatingly powerful explosives, which we were lucky enough that it did not drop. Baron Blade sets up his minions and mostly challenges you, can you do 40 damage to him before he pulls the moon into the earth? And more often than not, the answer is yes with you. Ra, for instance, is able to hit the ground running, immediately throwing out fireballs that deal heavy damage. But let's look at Bunker. What can Bunker do? He has all 3 of his mode cards in his hand, which is a great illustration. I could not imagine a better teaching hand for every Bunker. See, each of his modes allow him to do a certain thing twice in exchange for locking him out of another thing. Recharge mode will allow him to draw additional cards, but at the cost of preventing him from playing cards or using powers until he exits the mode. Turret mode will allow him to fire 2 guns, but he doesn't have any guns to fire, and he can't draw cards while it's in play. And upgrade mode will allow him to play additional cards, but prevent him from using any powers or drawing any cards, and is definitely the weakest of them.
So let's help him get set up. Let's get him some extra cards and guns.
Yes. Well, there's a grenade launcher, there's the maintenance unit, which is going to play another card for the environment, and oxygen leak, which thankfully someone can discard a card to plug up, and thankfully upgrade mode is definitely an above average value for upgrade mode, is discarding it to stop an oxygen leak.
Absolutely.
There is a reason we left Bunker for this one.
Yes, I love using Bunker's ability to basically have him take out the environment capabilities, so that way we can just focus on dealing damage straight to Baron.
Yes, Bunker has a card, we haven't seen it yet, but Bunker has a card called Adhesive Foam Grenade, which when played, shuts down the environment's ability to play other cards.
From a speedrunning perspective, you don't want to get multiple of these defense platforms, but I like to get them early, so that way I can just deal with them and just take it to him.
Yes. And Wraith has her Impromptu Invention, which is an absurdly strong card. You draw a card, you put any equipment from her deck directly into play, and then you get to play another card as well. So a micro-targeted computer will boost all of her damage. And then, what are you planning on playing as well?
Let's show off the smoke bombs.
Always a good choice. Smoke bombs are another great card, and another reason why Wraith is considered one of the strongest heroes in the game, and the reason why I have to qualify it is because Legacy is right there being even stronger. But smoke bombs, simply by being in play, lets you protect whoever has the least HP by redirecting damage from them to whoever has the most HP instead, and reducing it in the process.
Let's go ahead and throw some grenades.
Yes. Grenade launcher can hit up to 3 targets, but we only have 1 hit, and the maintenance level is easy to get rid of simply by shuffling back everyone's trash, which would inconvenience Tachyon, but honestly, I can't think of a single other hero that would really upset.
again, we use Bunker's power of just holding cards to deal with whatever the environment throws at us.
Yes. Baron Blade has set up a turret to shoot at everybody. But a good old-fashioned flying smash can actually take advantage of its multi-targeting capabilities by hitting both. And you will notice it did more damage to Baron Blade, because Legacy and Baron Blade are, appropriately enough, nemesis as well.
And let's see here. You know what? Let's go ahead and get rid of this turret for a bit.
Yes. And more importantly than just getting rid of it, it forces Baron Blade to play it again next turn, rather than something more dangerous. That's the other great strength of Into the Stratosphere.
Let's see what we can get. Let's go ahead and get rid of you. And since we have a double, we'll get rid of you.
And for everyone asking for a card that says draw 2 cards, how about Trust Fund, which says draw 4 cards, discard 2 cards?
Let's go ahead and summon again.
Yes. Nothing else
Beautiful.
lets you draw a card and play another card, and that card is going to be a Fire Blast. And we're already about to take out Baron Blade. But it's not quite that fast. You see, when you take out Baron Blade, he suits up. He stops trying to pull the moon into the earth, and he gets into his battle suit and starts simply punching the heroes directly. With a further 30 hit points. This is phase 2 of the fight.
He transformed into a Gundam.
Yes.
And here is the pervasive red dust of Mars, destroying 5 equipment. Although the good news is that when it's destroyed, everyone will be able to get 1 of their equipment back at least. Not fully fair, because Wraith is losing a lot more than 1 equipment, but it's something.
Correct. But we'll be able to take care of it.
Yes. Baron Blade has set up a living field to reduce all damage he takes by a single point, but that won't do much. He only has 30 HP on this side to begin with, and we've already almost taken out a third of it.
Correct. But we could also now take that out.
Yes! The ball lightning will deal more damage and destroy the living force field, meaning Baron Blade has nothing to hide behind anymore.
Hey, let's get our stuff back.
Yes, you can use the grappling hook to get rid of pervasive red dust. I don't know if you know this, but a grappling hook lets you get rid of pervasive red dust. And then when you get rid of it, we can get back the staff, which will actually heal Ra again, as a fun little note, get back the target computer, and get back Bunker's flat cannon. So it was more of a mild inconvenience than anything else.
There's another 6.
Yes.
And
At this point, yeah, why not Flesh of the Sun God? It makes Ra immune to fire damage. We could use its power to protect everyone else, but at this point, why bother? We're winning so hard anyway. And there's the adhesive foam grenade to ensure that the environment won't interfere for this next round, while Bunker proceeds to get rid of almost all of Baron Blade's health. 2 points short. Backlash field would cause counterattacks, but he has 2 HP.
not gonna really matter that much anymore.
It immensely does not matter. At this point, it's sort of a question of not if we're going to win, but how we want to win. And we've elected to use Chain Lightning.
And that will be time. That's how you save the world from 4 variety of evil villains who are trying to take over the world, but you have your own Avengers to be able to win in style however you want. Yay!
Very, very well done.
Thank you.
There was a 10502. Very, very good.
Yes, thank you. Again, I could not have been able to learn this game without a little bit of help from the teacher, Organmike, but most importantly, our wonderful commentator here, Banana. Again, they found me randomly, serendipitously, like they said, when I was broadcasting my practice, and they said, do you mind if I backseat a little bit? And I'm like, oh no, go on ahead. And the rest is history. And before I say anything else, are there any other messages before I give the last little spiel here?
Let's see. Griffin in Twitch chat was definitely here for the lore. I assume that they loved it.
I hope so.
And if you want to get that very, very, very quick last donation in for the Paper Mario Tower of Trials run that is coming up, there's still a 1 cent difference. It's very, very close, but Waluigi is just in the lead. If you want to keep Waluigi in the lead, either donate to Waluigi or just ignore Classic Luigi, and vice versa.
Waluigi.
Waluigi.
Too bad, Waluigi time.
Yes. Thank you again for having little old me. Again, I am Amalgamayne, or Amal for short. You can find me at twitch.com/TV, whatever our last name of Twitch is here, /Amalgamayne. I do Sentinels, and I also do horror and action, but most importantly, I am LGBT friendly, and all the other acronyms as well. It's a safe space, so if you're looking for somebody to just hang out with, please come in and hang out, because you'll be part of the main event. That's the name of our crew here, and who doesn't want to be part of the main event? Banana, do you have anything or any special shout-outs you'd like to say?
Well, I'd like to shout out you, honestly, because I have watched your streams, and I will second that they are a great place to hang out. I just want to say, I watched you get better. You went from never having heard of the game before to reliably winning every single match, and doing so quickly at a very nice pace. Even if you have bad RNG, you are quite good at this game. I just want to repeat that. It bears saying that.
Thank you. And if you are interested in learning Sentinels, feel free to come and stop on by. You know, Banana and myself, we're hopefully not that scared, and we'd be happy to teach you some of the basic game mechanics and help you figure out how you could be able to go fast just as well.
Yes. Check out Amalgamayne's stream if you want to see Sentinels play quickly. Check out my streams if or when I do them. I don't stream very often, but I do occasionally stream, and I usually stream Sentinels played very, very slowly and carefully and methodically. So you've got a bit of choice there.
Absolutely. And with that, I'll hand it back over to you, Veyron, to be able to close us out and usher in another amazing run. Thank you again, Speedromizer. You are awesome.
For so long, I was living my life, oh so wrong, always numb in my mind, battled on.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that incredible run of Sentinels of the Multiverse. Next up, we have Paper Mario Tower of Trials. But before we do that, I think we might need to take a break, because some of us may need to hydrate with water, or perhaps eat some food, or perhaps empty your bladder by going to the bathroom. Who knows? So yeah, we are going to chuck on a quick ad break, and we'll see you in just a little bit so we can resume this incredible event. See you in a little bit.
As it falls out of sight, setting on
welcome back. I hope we're all ready, because when we are ready as well, so when both of us are ready, I suppose, in that case, we will see Paper Mario Tower of Trials. But before that ever happens, if you want to throw in a very quick last-minute donation to separate the donation bids, you can feel free to do so. Just do that at speedromizer.live/donate, or you can find the link in the chat by typing !donate. At the moment, Waluigi is currently in first with $10. Classic Luigi is second with $9.99. Still a 1 cent difference, but any donation right now could make all the difference. Or perhaps you would love to see Waluigi, in which case, don't worry about donating then, who knows. What a day we have had so far, I have to say. We had so many incredible runs today, and we are finishing off with another banger, Paper Mario Tower of Trials. That is, honestly, it's a very good mix today. We've had several platformers, a Ghoulies run, we've had a Duck Life battle, and we had DJ's second incident, I suppose, with the Spicy % run. And of course, who could forget the greatest racing game of all time, besides Forza, of course, it is Wild Animal Racing. That was another very fun run, I'm sure we can all agree on that. I mean, Wild Animal Racing is no Forza, but it's still very good.